Welcome to the Better Than the Other League podcast. See, I sounded it out there, didn't I? You have to really sound out those syllables of better than that other league.
Brown cow.
Exactly. Well, this is, we're into week 8, boys. How we feeling? Kevin, I'll let you start off. How you feeling about your season so far?
So far, so good. I feel like the trades that I've made have worked out over the last couple weeks. Yeah. I think my team's got potential as long as everybody doesn't get pneumonia.
Yeah, the injury bug has been hitting everybody this year. It's been pretty crazy. Dave, how are you feeling after coming off after a butt whooping of me?
I'm feeling pretty good. Being in first,
Oh yeah, first place. Dave's in first place. Well,
yeah.
Dave,
I
you
complain too much.
Yeah, you bent me over and gave me a spanking last week. You ended up winning, had the most points for the week. You got your 15 buckaroonies, 294.07. That was a great matchup. It started off pretty nicely on Thursday when I had Javonte Williams scoring 40 points and Kamara only scoring 7 for you, but that was the only bright spot for me. Yeah. Kevin, Brad did end up having to relax his anus to lose to you.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. I know both Ben and Eric's buttholes were clenched Monday night. Look at this, 234.47 to 234.17.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's no Chris beating or Chris and Nick score from a couple weeks ago, but still, Eric was probably clenching his cheeks tight. Then we had Ben versus Jimmy. This is Tom. Tom versus Jimmy. What happened in that matchup? We don't really know. I don't know who anybody has anymore. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is no longer on Tom's team. He's on yours, Kevin.
Yep, I got him.
Yeah, Tom just beat Jimmy. Just nicely. It was just a nice matchup. Just nothing too crazy, you know. Chris pooped the bed and let Spoondog finally get another win under his belt. And then last but not least, Nick just handed it to Sean, winning 262 to 157. Great. That was really good. That was a great week 7 recap, wasn't it?
It was great.
Very good.
Of course. Next on the agenda is we're doing the mystery prize drawing here. Ooh. Last week's mystery prize was most points by a wide receiver, and Kevin took it home. St. Brown had the most points.
Tom's former teammate there.
What was that mystery prize? I missed it.
I'm currently eating an Oreo. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's really going to confuse them because I'm actually going to do the mystery prize right now. And the mystery prize for week 8 is, let me grab one. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. The quarterback with the most passing yards. Your quarterback has to be in your quarterback position.
We're not a super flex yet, you mean? Didn't super flex quarterback yet?
No.
Are we not doing Pick'em this week?
I'm sorry?
Are we not doing Pick'em this week?
We are doing Pick'em this week.
Okay.
Is it both? We're doing both.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course we're doing both. Yeah. I was going to save that to the end of the pod to remind everybody.
Okay.
Get your picks into me. Do it before your Thursday night game. I have been pretty lenient on sure, give me your Thursday night matchup, and then at least the rest of the games before the 1 o'clock kickoff. So, feel free to do what you guys like. But anyways, that was your mystery prize for week 8. We're going to move right into the matchups for week 8. Can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Cool beans. Kevin, take it away. Let's hear what you have to say about Eric, who's red hot, and me, who's poopty doopty.
Yeah. Well, you get a big piece back this week with Cooper Kupp coming back. Between him, Jamar Chase, CJ Stroud should kind of get back on track for you. Montgomery's got a tough matchup against Tennessee. Etienne's got a really good matchup with Arizona. Your team's kind of all over the place. Javante's been coming on against Carolina. That should be a big game for him. And then looking over at Eric's, he's got a lot of good matchups. I think Jordan Love against Jacksonville. I believe he's got Kraft at his tight end position. Tyreek, Higgins, London's been unreal this year so far. I want to say he's like the wide receiver 2 or 3 on the year, just in total points. So he's been really good. This one's tough. Honestly, this is really, really close. I think you're going to have a hard time knowing who to root for in this, Jesse, with him having Love and Kraft. But I'll go. You know what? You got to stay with the hot hand. I'm going to go with Eric in this one. Sorry, Jesse.
That's okay.
I do think that this matchup in particular is going to be very high scoring and it's going to be very close.
I mean, I hope it's high scoring. I feel like it's a win-win for me. If Jordan Love goes off, it means the Packers probably won. If I lose, whatever. It's just I'm already just sitting back drinking my coffee. I don't really care. Well, I do care, but you get it. I'm 2-5. That's all I really got to say about that. Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. I'm gonna, Kevin. Oh shoot, that was yours and Brad's matchup from last week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at me, just screwing everything up here.
Get a little payback here.
Oh, Kevin versus Dave. All right. This is going to be a great matchup. The two, both of you made some big trades with each other earlier this year, and we're going to see how it pans out. Starting with you, Kevin. Jared Goff, he's been hot as well. The Lions' offense in general has just been booming. Along with Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can pass against Tennessee. There's going to be tough to run, so they're going to have to hit the passing game pretty hard. Will Debo be healthy enough for Sunday night? It's unsure. So, but if not, I think your tight end, George Kittle, is going to be getting a lot of targets. And then wait, hold on a second. You have CeeDee Lamb too? This is just highway robbery, what you've done with your team. Like you've just been making these smart trades to all these suckers who have just been giving you all these good players. What the heck? Two-headed monster with Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams. Oh boy, man, looking like a stud.
And then there's Stevenson.
Oh, I forgot about Stevenson, who's also just gets the ball
like the
a lot.
Poor man on my team.
So, and then we move over to Dave. Kyler Murray has been also boom bust this year. He's been, he's okay. Brian Thomas is looking like the rookie wide receiver to have this year against Green Bay's defense, who they've surprisingly done pretty well against big name receivers. Mooney Tampa Bay's defense or secondary is they can pass. You just see what Lamar Jackson did to them, kind of diced them up for 5 touchdown passes. So Mooney can get some targets this week. Malik Neighbors looking to come back from his concussion, had a down week. If only he had a quarterback to pass him the ball. We'll see. Kamara just signed a new 2-year deal for the Saints. Looking pretty good. So hopefully they're going to start to use him more. Get him the ball. Tank, as long as ETN is out for you, Dave, Tank will be a tank. He'll be just what his name is. We got Brock Bowers for you, Dave. He's the only target in Vegas. So, and then top that off with Joe Mixon. I mean, he's going to get his. This one's going to be also another kind of tough matchup. I feel this Sunday night's just going to be where Kevin just goes off with CeeDee Lamb and George Kittle. I don't think, Dave, you have Neighbors on Monday night. He's not going to be able to do enough to come back. So, Kevin, I'm giving you the win this week, buddy. You'll move to 5-3. Dave will drop to 6-2. But will it be enough to lose first place? We'll see. We'll find out. And next, Dave, I believe you're going to take on
Tom and Brad.
What do you want to do? You want to do Tom and Brad?
Yeah.
That's down here. Let's take a look at Tom and Brad's matchup. Dave, take it away.
So I like a lot of Tom's matchups this week. Caleb and DJ Moore against Washington. That could be, if Jaden Daniels plays, it'll be an electric game. Doesn't sound like his rib injury is too serious, but we'll see. McBride has been getting a lot of targets. They go against Miami. Good matchup. And then Hunt and Mason has just been chugging along. Hunt's been getting quite a few touchdowns the last couple of weeks. And then his defense, Denver against Carolina, very favorable matchup. So like the key for Brad is if Jared Allen can have a massive game against Seattle, and then Gibbs and Laporta. If Monty misses any time, I don't know how that knee's doing. And then we have J-Mo suspended a couple games, so maybe some more targets go Laporta's way. But I think this week I got to go with Tom with this one. Just too many matchups. Yeah. Too many guys are going to be in positive game script games, and just see his team putting up a lot of points this week.
Especially with Brad starting Jared Allen at quarterback, he's not going to score very many points.
The retired edge rusher. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
There you go.
I did that last time too, I think.
Yeah, I did, Dave. Nice one. All right. Alrighty. Kevin, we're moving back to you. I don't know where I'm going. Let's see. Week 8. Kevin, let's talk about Ben versus Nick.
Yeah. Ben had a pretty good week last week. Came up just short against Eric. Has a nice stack there with Hurts and Brown. Xavier Worthy's going to continue to get more and more looks, I think, in that offense now with Smith-Schuster out, and obviously Rice is out. And they're all sorts of banged up. Robinson's been kind of Daniel Jones's favorite target while Neighbors has been out. So he's got it. I really like Cade Otton too, honestly. I think Cade Otton might be possibly even the top target getter in Tampa Bay now for this week at least. He's got a good rapport with Baker and with the other two big receivers out. He might end up being pretty big. But then looking across at Nick's team, you can kind of say the same for the Njoku with the trade. and he's got some other big names. I don't know if Metcalf will play. It doesn't sound like everything's looking too hot for him. He's got some interesting Thursday night players with Jefferson and Jones. I really like Ben's. I like Ben's matchups, so I think I'm gonna have to go with Nick actually in this one. I think we're gonna go with Nick.
Yeah, I like how you spun that one. That was good. Of course, you can't go with Ben.
No, it's gonna be Nick by a lot.
We all hope so. All right. I have to always keep going back to week 8. I'll take over now. We're going to talk about Chris in third place at 5-2 versus Sean and Matt at 4-3 in fourth place. Starting off with Chris's team over here on the left, Patty Mahomes always has huge games against the Raiders. Zay Flowers, questionable, got injured last night. Or hopefully he'll be healthy enough to play next or this Sunday. Devontae Smith had a horrible game last week. He'll be looking to pick up the slack. Same thing with Cortland Sutton. He had 0 points last week. I think he had 0 targets, 0 catches, nothing last week. Hopefully Denver's offense can get some things together. Obviously, his running backs, Derrick Henry and Chuba Hubbard, both of them don't have the greatest matchups. Cleveland and Denver both are notorious for stopping the run. Moving on to Jonathan Taylor, he's been out for the last couple weeks. And yeah, we're not sure what's going on with that situation. I love Jake Ferguson for Dallas. I think he's an underrated tight end this year. Moving over to Sean's team, Lamar Jackson coming off a 5 touchdown week. He's awesome. He's looking like the MVP front runner this year. And I don't know if we could redo the first round this year, would he be in the first round? Do you think someone would draft him in the first round? Knowing what you know now? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later. Anyways, they're also, Sean and Matt are both starting Christian Watson, Jalen Tolbert. And Devontae Adams, the newcomer to the Jets. Receiving crowd, I mean, compared to Chris's, the receivers are just so-so. Sean and Matt's running backs, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, and Tony Pollard. I mean, it's ultimately going to be a matchup of whose running backs are going to actually score some points this week. Other than that, their quarterbacks are going to have to duke it out. This one's a real tough one. I think the projected scoring is going to be spot on in terms of I could see Chris winning 209 to 207. It's going to be a close one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this one to Chris. He's going to stay hot. And, with him winning this week, he could, and with Dave possibly losing, which I'm predicting, Chris will end up making it into first place. We'll see. Don't say anything, Dave. No. I'm the commissioner. I'm the commissioner of this league. Last but not least, we're saving the coolest, most amazing matchup for last. Dave, you're up. Let's talk about Jimmy John's.
To piggyback off of your last matchup, Jesse, I think this one's going to be really close as well. Probably within a few points of each other. Joe Burrow, for looking at Jimmy, Joe Burrow against Philly. I mean, it's always a competitive game. I know Philly's defense has been doing pretty well as of late, so we'll see how Joe Burrow fares in that game. I like a get right game for Diggs against Indy. They've got a pretty vulnerable secondary. And now Stroud will want to come out slinging after the week he had last week. Barkley is always a very good play. Might be talking about him a bit later. We'll see. And then going over to John's team, I like Reed this week against Jacksonville. Cooper got a touchdown last week. He might see if he can continue it again this week against Seattle. Brees Hall has just been these last few weeks. He's just been money. Him and Walker are pretty solid pairing for John. So I think those two will be big for John this week. That being said, I'm going to give the win to John this week. I think that Pittsburgh on Monday night might clinch it for him.
Yeah. Don't let John get hot.
No,
don't let Spoondog get hot. He's dangerous. Dangerous. Just look at his avatar. Look at that. Dangerous. All right, boys. Well, that was your Week 8 matchup previews. We have a special segment coming up. You know, you heard me mention it just a little bit, but what would happen if we were to do the first round over again? Knowing what we know now, seeing all the injuries, all the breakouts, everything too. How would the first round go? Well, you're about to find out because we're about to do a first round redo. Let's share the sleeper screen. Let's do this one. All right. We're just doing the first round. You can see here we're using the sleeper app on the computer. I did a random drawing, and Dave, you're going first. I'm going second, and Kevin, you're going third. So Dave, take it away. Who would be your first pick of the Better Than the Other League fantasy draft?
I think it's got to be one of the guys I think we talked about in a previous podcast. Kevin and I were talking about Joe Mixon. Not Joe Mixon. It was one of the guys who I would have decided between. Derrick Henry with the 101. He's just been doing absolutely monstrous things this year.
Yeah, to give off some stats on Henry too, I'm looking at our league alone. He is the number one flex position scorer, so wide receiver, running back, tight end, with 325. The next closest is to be unnamed at 244. So a pretty huge gap between first and second place there.
Yep.
To
be unnamed, I kind of like that.
Well, I don't want to give anything away for your second pick here, Jesse.
I mean, this one's a tough one. I mean, I don't know if I would have gone Derrick Henry number one. Definitely not 2 or 3, but I'm going with my boy. I'm going with Jamar Chase. I think he's just been the most, aside from another receiver, I feel like he's been the most consistent in terms of scoring this year. And two, with our league being a starting 3 wide receivers, I think that's I mean, if you can get someone like Jamar Chase in the first round early, you got to do it. So I'm going Jamar Chase number 2.
Yeah, he's 40 points above the next closest receiver, so that's a good call. He's number 1 of the year in our group, outside of Chris Godwin, which he was 20 points ahead of, but that's no longer really an option. In the third spot, I'm gonna go the unnamed player that I mentioned after Dave's pick there, Saquon Barkley.
Solid pick.
Dave, you're up at number 4.
Kind of keeping there's a few guys that are ahead of this player, However, he's been money every week for like 16 weeks or however weeks in a row, something like that. Scoring a touchdown. I'll go Kyron Williams because I think he's gonna keep finishing out the season strong. Scoring. He'll be double digit touchdowns. Well, he's pretty close to that already, but he'll be double digit touchdowns this year for sure. He's at 8 right now.
I definitely think it's helped that both Cooper Kupp and Puka have been out with injuries too. So obviously you can't predict that, but knowing what we've known now, he would have been a great pick in the first round. So I'm taking it at number 5. Again, kind of compared him with Jamar Chase, but Justin Jefferson, same thing. He's just on a roll so far too. He's also scored a touchdown in every game this week or this year except one maybe. So he's just money every week. So that's pick number 5 for me.
Yeah, it has been a touchdown in every game except for one. That was going to be my pick.
Sniped.
I will have to pivot. I think. See, this one's tough because I'm torn between two guys. One guy's going to be on IR for a little bit longer, in Nico Collins. I might still go with Nico Collins for number 6. I know that he's going to be on IR for a little while longer, but this is a guy that you're going to want. Like, if you're a playoff team and you're going to be in the playoffs, this is a guy that you're going to want in the playoffs. He's missed 2 games now due to that hamstring injury, and he's still the wide receiver 4 in our league right now, behind Drake London, behind Chris Godwin, and Jamar Chase. So obviously, he's not going to help you over the next, even few weeks. But looking long term and what he's done early in the year, this guy's about as solid as they come.
I would agree with all that. So my next pick, I'm gonna go with a guy who's been getting a lot of touches. Some injuries these last couple of weeks has put him in the focal point of the offense. Alvin Kamara. He's just been. He hasn't scored too many touchdowns. I'm trying to get to his stats. He hasn't scored too many touchdowns, but 20. He's had multiple games with 20 plus touches between receptions and actual rushes. So his last week was his outlier week, but he's had some massive games. So I go Kamara there at 7.
That's a bit of a reach for me. I mean, his first couple weeks were just dominant. Not having Derek Carr, not having Chris Olave and Shaheed, like it's obvious that their offense struggles mightily without any of those players. So that's obviously why he's had the last 2 weeks have been really down weeks. But thanks for taking Kamara, because I'm gonna pick this guy right up. Breece Hall. He's definitely just a dynamic focal point for the Jets offense, and despite having both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson as their top 2 wide receivers, he was still getting a lot of receptions. I think he might have had over 100 yards and receiving yards this past week, or this past Thursday. So, Sunday it was. But that's a great pick if you can get Breece Hall at number 8.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. I with this pick, I might go with a guy that's been extremely consistent and consistently good. I know he was out for a period of time. You might call this a reach too, but before you do, let me read you his numbers in the games that he's played. He's played 4 games. Uh, week 1, 57 points. Week 2, 11 points. That's his down week. He took 3 games off due to an injury, and then he came back with 52 and 50. Joe Mixon has been consistently incredible this year, and having gone wherever he went in our draft, I was trying to look it up, and my finger got tired of scrolling through the rounds. He's been the steal of the draft so far.
I think he as on a points per game. I think he's running back 2. Don't quote me on that. That he might have moved up this week with his performance, but I thought
Just
I heard as of
behind.
last week points per game he's like the second leading running back.
So he's just behind Henry, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Davey.
Man, this one is. See if anyone.
Man, some obvious picks. If you can get this player at this point, congrats.
Yeah.
Let him drop to me, Dave. Let him drop to me.
I mean, I think I'm gonna go with the first quarterback. I mean, I know it's kind of in our league. It's kind of odd for our league, but Lamar Jackson is just having an MVP season. Like he can't do anything wrong. He's at almost 2,000 yards passing already. Where's his touchdowns at? 15 touchdowns. He's only thrown 2 picks, and 9 sacks. This guy's he's just an animal. He's just putting up so many points every week.
Yeah, he's the quarterback 1 in our league at 399.42 so far. Next closest is Baker, who's going to take a huge step back, I think, with a couple of his weapons going down at 372. And then the third place one's Joe Burrow at 307. Mm-hmm. There's a pretty significant drop off after Lamar, and then I think Baker's going to kind of settle down into the pack too. But yeah. Was that the guy you were talking about, Jesse, falling to you?
It wasn't. It was not.
I was hoping he would fall to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he would have been my next pick had Dave taking this guy. He's only. I got to double check here. This player is 1, 2, 3. He's in the top 10 of wide receivers this year, but not he's. I think he's number 9 actually. But I'm on Ross St. Brown. The point total doesn't necessarily say for what he's going to be for the entire season, but he's still just a dominant player on for the Lions, and I think rest of the season he's still going to creep up his way into the top 5 wide receivers.
He's already had that bye week too. Yeah. Yeah, with him having that bye week already too, he's missing out on some stats that I think the other guys will kind of balance out once they get into their bye.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple names I'm looking at here. We've taken a lot of running backs. One other guy is, I guess, the first round irrelevant that I wanted to take was Jahmyr Gibbs, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take Drake London in this spot. He is actually, he's got about 1 point more than Nico Collins does on the year. He's extremely consistent. in putting up 25 plus. He missed that mark in week 1. We'll chalk that up to Kirk Cousins still trying to figure out the offense. And then the only other time he hasn't hit 25 was against New Orleans in week 4, but he's hit, I guess week 2 he hit 23, so he's just under the mark there. But week 3, 26, and then he's been consistent, 56 in week 5, 27 in week 6, and then 25 last week against a pretty good Seattle team. And he's got pretty favorable matchups moving forward too. So I'm going to go with Eric's Drake London there in the 12 spot.
It's had a touchdown in every week, but 2.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, there you have it. This was our first round redo. Take a screenshot, and we'll have to see what our first round draft next year looks like. And is it anywhere near this? I'd say it's going to look a little bit different, but a lot of these players are definitely going to be making a name for themselves for the rest of the season, and you could see them in your first round next year. All right. Well, that does it for this week's podcast, boys. A reminder to get your picks into me for the Week 8 Pick'em for the extra 10 buckaroos. Other than that, do you guys have any parting words?
Not really, Dave.
Good luck this week, Kevin. May the best man win.
Okay. How about one last little fake out for the mystery prize drawing? Ooh. Huh? What could it be? We don't know. We'll see. Haha, popcorn.
What's Jesse going to put in his mouth?
All right, boys. Yeah. Hopefully not Eric this week. Hopefully I don't. Yeah, never mind.
What?
I know. Yeah. All right, boys. This season's been great, hasn't it? You guys have a good rest of your week. Good luck on your Week 8 matchups. Hope all your bets hit. That's it. Peace, boys.